All right, this is Morgan with winterwarfare.com, and in today's video I'm just going to have a very simple and hopefully a little thorough conversation about some winter camouflage tactical items that we're carrying in a new section that I think is going to be a very important conversation to have, and important industry thing and conversation to have with many guys out there that have to deal with winter tactical situations in this new section that we have on our website, which is the Bros Gear section. And so the Bros Gear section is it's an area of our website where we just have some very cool and local dudes from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, making cool MOLLE gear, camouflage gear, load-bearing vests, scrims that we're going to go over today. And so before we start the conversation, I'll go over with you, I think, some things that I see happening with the larger winter tactical industry as a whole, if you will. And I think some of this might be a little of my opinion. I mean, I do have a little insider view, if you will. Just being a dealer, we talk to a lot of people and see a lot of things happening. So this isn't the this may not be true in every case, but I've noticed recently a couple situations where two large tactical equipment manufacturers, one being First Spear, and First Spear makes a Viking chest rig that we sell, and I was told by First Spear they'll no longer be making that Viking chest rig, which is a Arctic ATX camo pattern chest rig. It's pretty cool. I actually have one. The second large manufacturer that I talked to the other day is Armored Republic. You probably know Armored Republic from their plates and plate carriers. Well, one of those plate carriers that Armored Republic has made is the Alpine Valkyrie plate carrier. It's a very cool Arctic or Alpine multi-cam plate carrier, and I was told by Armored Republic they're going to no longer be making that. And so the conversation that we're going to have today is going to be going over some of the gear that we have, and the thought is that we're trying to fill the gap. At Winter Warfare, what I want to do is try to fill the gap in the need of the guys out there who do need this, winter camouflage gear. So what we do know is that or what it seems to be large industry, unless they can just get the mass production, it's just something that they're not interested in. So from there in between many end users, that mass production in some cases, like I said, it may not be in every case, and some of this might be my opinion as well, there's a gap, and my goal is to try to fill that gap. So basically what we've done is we've partnered with a handful of just several really cool guys, and we're looking for more as well. There's other things that we're looking for to help meet the need of winter camouflage MOLLE, for example. That, in my opinion, some of this gear is extremely hard to find, or rare items, rare loot items, if you will, in the chest. So let's just start off, and we're going to start off with cedar sewing. So I have a buddy, his name's Josh. He runs Cedar Sewing. Josh is in Wyoming, and we're gonna take a minute. We're gonna go through quite a bit of this gear. So if this is something to interest you, hang along for the ride. So Josh is in Wyoming. He runs cedar sewing, and Josh and all the guys we're going to talk about today, these are smaller operations, and I love this stuff. I love being able to work with the smaller guys. Winter warfare isn't a mega operation. Winter warfare isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. Winter warfare was created, as a matter of fact, itself just to fill a need that was out there, or even bring awareness to guys out there, including myself, that winter is something you have to deal with in a tactical situation. What we do know is that when you talk about winter camouflage, winter concealment has its own challenges, and it's concealment in itself obviously is serious. I mean, when you deal with war, you deal with tactical stuff, you're dealing with serious situations. And one thing that you want to be aware of is your concealment, and the snow provides different challenges to your concealment, whether that be sunlight hitting off the snow, whether it be different snow environments, whether it be contrasting areas that are occurring in urban or mountainous areas. So being able just to get winter tactical MOLLE, for example, is a very, very important thing, and our goal is to be able to work with some of these smaller, if you will, guys making this gear, to compile that all together in one place that makes it easier for you to get, hopefully a win-win for the guys making it, for us, and for you out there. So let's start off, let's go back to Josh in Wyoming, and the first item that we're going to talk about is the Bliss. This is the Bliss, which stands for Battle Light Infantry Suspension System. And so there's a couple things that I want to point out about this. It's essentially a load-bearing equipment harness with quite a bit of MOLLE real estate available to you. And so I just got mine a couple days ago, and we got this listed up on our website now. The cool thing about the Bliss, again, this is the Battle Light Infantry Suspension System, is that I don't think there's any, not that I've seen, maybe there is, and I know a lot of the guys that watch these videos are very smart guys, and in some cases have way more knowledge than I do. But as far as what I have seen, I have not seen myself a load-bearing equipment harness. I've seen a lot of chest rigs. I've seen a lot of winter camouflage chest rigs. As I mentioned earlier, one is the First Spear Viking chest rig. Another one I have that I'm going to talk about in a minute is, this isn't a Bros Gear item, but I do want to mention Wilder Tactical, and this is their Hitman Gunfighter, and it's a chest rig, and we're going to talk about some pros and cons. The main topic of discussion today is items being made by local dudes, or what I call Bros Gear, and what they're doing. But there's a couple items that I'm going to bring into the conversation too, just to point out which. Let's go back to this Bliss Battle Light Infantry Suspension System that Cedar Sewing makes. I'm big on load-bearing equipment. That's just my own opinion. And my rationale for that is, in any sustained type of operation, the load-bearing equipment it's just giving me more, and more is more, I guess you could say. So on this system, I mean, not only do I have my mags, but I can put lots of MOLLE on here. I can put my water on here, butt pack on here for some sustainment gear. And so there's just a lot that I could do with load-bearing equipment in a longer, more sustained operation, this is my opinion, than with just a simple chest rig. And so I think my thought on the Bliss is, I don't know of anybody else out there making a load-bearing harness equipment system like Josh at Cedar Sewing is making, and he's essentially made these for us. So to me, this itself is a very big deal. So with my Bliss setup here, I have a couple MOLLE pouches that Cedar Sewing also makes, and so let's talk about those. Okay, so first we have, this is the drip. This is a double rifle insert pouch. So the double rifle insert pouch, again, this is Cedar Sewing, and I have 2 of them on my Bliss Battle Light Infantry suspension system right now. This is the drip stands for the double rifle insert pouch, and so basically what's happening is it's a two mag pouch, which might seem kind of weird, but I want to explain that to you. So this will hold 2 5.56 mags, or it'll hold 2 308 mags. But regarding the cold weather setup, what's happening inside this is there's a Kydex insert, and I guess I don't know if I want to quite call it, or if I'm knowledgeable enough myself, but it's like a Kiwi insert, if you will. But in here it's separating those mags just slightly. And I think that the cool thing is that if you've worked in the winter environment, sometimes I have very big gloves on, and those gloves are going to make it very hard to grab a mag. That Kydex insert that's actually in here, it adds a little retention to these. That's one thing. But my thought on the cold weather winter part of the drip MOLLE mag pouch is that separation, and having that to, if I have my gloves on, working to get those mags out quickly. So I think that was a thought that I had on that. Another thought that I had in my notes is the closed flaps. So a cool thing that Cedar Sewing does is the MOLLE pouches that Josh makes, they're kind of plug and play. I'm going to show you something here in a second. But with the closed flap, I think my thought was that's what I wanted for a cold weather winter situation where I don't want snow getting in here. And specifically when Josh and I were talking about these, he does have a different flap for the multicam and Ranger Green pouches that he makes, but specifically for the Alpine, I wanted to have that closed lid on there. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about not only that drip pouch that we just looked at, but this is a Nalgene pouch made by Cedar Sewing. So let me just give you an example of kind of the plug and playness of his MOLLE pouches. Basically, we talked about having the closable lids on there for the snow. Well, one cool thing is if you don't like that, you could take that out. So I could completely take the lid off, and maybe I had a bigger water bottle or something that needed to go in there. Let me just show you. This is actually one of my 1 liter, Nalgene water bottle or tactical water bottle, whatever you want to call it. And my 1 liter is actually pretty tall. Josh's Cedar Sewings, if you will, their pouches, their Nalgene pouch, will hold a 32 ounce or 1 liter. It's about the same. Kind of a short, stubby, fat water bottle in there. You could also put several rifle magazines in this as well. That could be an option for you. But let's talk about the kind of the plug and playness of the lid. So I explained in my case, this is just me. My 1 liter is a little tall, and so if I just rise this lid up just a little bit, I have adjustability with these is the point that I'm trying to make, and the adjustability, you know, I could put different size objects in there. I could lower the back down, raise it up. I just thought that was cool, as well as the quick coupler. I could take this off if I don't like this. I could completely remove that. So he's built in some cool features, drain hole in the bottom. So this is the cedar sewing Nalgene pouch. Okay, next we're going to talk about my buddy Sean at Shadow Equipment, and I met Sean at a training. He's a really cool guy, and Sean and I got to talking. Sean, he has a very creative mind. I mean, every guy that we're going to talk about here today in this bros gear section, these are all just cool guys, amazing guys. If you check out Shadow Equipment, which Sean runs, if you just see some of the things that he does and just the way that his mind works, he can just almost re-engineer, refit, look at an item and just like almost mentally build a part for it. And so he's a huge asset to the community to have. And so the item that we have from Sean is this is the high cut Alpine scrim, and so this is how you're going to get it. So the scrim, which I have here on my helmet, comes with a retention cord that you just string through, has Velcro pads to, you know, attach it to your high cut helmet. And so that scrim, there's a couple things that I like about it. Is that we have these listed for $49, and so I think that you know, your head covering, if you will, or your head camo, if you will, sometimes the winter items are really hard to find. I mean, all these things that we're talking about today, from, you know, the Bliss belt to, in particular, I probably should have let's back up a step. I probably should have mentioned the drip, which are the, you know, the cedar sewing mag pouch. I don't remember seeing any, like you might be able to get this item, but you can't get that item. Or like, for example, we sell the Armored Republic Alpine Valkyrie plate carrier. Okay, cool. What could you put on it? It's hard to find mag pouches to, you know, an Alpine or winter camo to do that. And so in a similar way, Sean at Shadow Equipment, one of the things I said was, hey, I need some winter camo scrims. They're $49, and I think from my memory, I've tried to find, you know, helmet covers before, and they're usually, in the winter stuff, it's usually out of stock. You can't find it, or you're talking like $80, which to me is pretty expensive. And yeah, some of the gear that I've got, I've you know, had to do or get just because that's the only option. So I thought, you know, for $49, that seems very reasonable. You also get a nice little Shadow Equipment sticker to go along with that. I mean, I guess a guy's other option as far as a scrim would be It's not really the topic of this discussion, but you could just get a camo net and cut off a, I don't know, 12 by 12 inch piece or something and kind of cut it out and put it on your helmet. But then you got to cut up one of your nice camo nets, and you know, that's your call to do. So in any case, you know, we have Sean at Shadow Equipment, we have his scrims up, and this is all in the bros gear section. And again, I mentioned I'd met Sean at a training. This is a very cool guy, really nice, a really nice guy. So let's keep moving on to some other items that we have. Next is going to be Shepherd Associated, and this is Samuel, and I believe Shepherd Associated is in Maine. So now we're talking way out on the East Coast, and so what we have, a couple items from Shepherd Associated, which are these MOLLE pouches. These are the A42 pouch. This is the large, this is the small. We also have the medium, but I thought you guys could probably figure out what the one in the middle looks like. And so let's just talk about a couple things with these really quick. Shepherd Associated, they make a insert. They do make an insert. We don't have those, but at Shepherd Associated they do, if that's something that you're interested in. They make several different inserts that goes into these A42 pouches that Sam makes. And those mag inserts basically hold you know, one rifle mag, 2, 3, multiple rifle mags, and other things that you could actually attach in these if you'd like. So one thing that I honed in on is this is the A42 pouch, large. It's very large. You could hold, I believe, according to Shepherd Associated, two 32 ounce Nalgene's in here, or essentially 2 1 liters in here, and it's pretty big. It's a pretty big pouch, so you can put a lot of gear in there. Very nicely made. So that might be something to consider too, going on the Bliss belt. So I could take an A42. In addition, Cedar Sewing makes a couple other items that I haven't mentioned too, but these are just ideas. As far as maybe a nice admin pouch, this is the A42 small. I do run an admin pouch, and I like that because I keep a lot of different things in mine. I have plenty of real estate still on my Bliss to keep this stuff, put a bigger pack in the back, do something like that. So from the small to the large, we're looking at, I don't know, 69 bucks I think for a small, 89 for the large. And more importantly, Samuel is another really good guy. And yes, I've talked to him. And again, the topic is really two things. I don't need to work with everybody. I don't want to work with everybody. I only like to work with certain people. I don't need to sell everything. I don't even need to have winter warfare. So I'm just trying to give you guys a baseline of kind of like my thought process. I'm in some degrees, I'm just well beyond mentally of things occurring and happening, and so I'm pretty picky in what I want and who I want to deal with and the types of guys that I hang out with. And I see this as being a real win-win, a win for some cool guys out there that are making really cool gear and have, you know, just really cool ideas, and then making the gear that guys out there in the field like you and myself need in the areas that you live in. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see. Okay, another item is the Alpine rifle sling. And so I have one here. It's the Alpine rifle sling. It's got the, let's see. Oh, here it is. I have another one rolled up here. So it's got the ITW hardware, but you could also very easily change that out for a QD quick coupler. So let me tell you about who makes these. This is Caleb in Oregon. So Caleb is also known as the War Hippie. I think that's his Instagram and possibly his YouTube, I'm not sure. But I know Caleb from some guys on the West Coast. Caleb's he's in Oregon. And there's some guys that I'm kind of in some group chats with and in contact with quite frequently on the West Coast. And Caleb's in that circle. And so the conversation came up about rifle slings. Again, this is the Alpine rifle sling that Caleb, aka War Hippie, makes. Try finding an Alpine, rifle sling. This is a 2-point sling, well constructed. Again, if you're talking about load bearing, winter, load bearing equipment, I haven't been able to find any of this stuff. Cool. Right now we got it. Scrims. Okay, cool. Maybe you can find it, maybe you can't. Rifle slings. It's just an item I just really haven't seen. And so we have that now from Caleb, aka War Hippie. And we have these listed for $59. I thought that was extremely reasonable price. Like I said, there's a couple things I'm trying to do in winter warfare. It's not a get rich quick scheme, and we're trying to fill a need. And I like working with the community. This whole, I don't know if you want to call it a project of the bros gear section on our website. This whole video is just really about that. It's about guys just like you out there and that guy on your team who's making some stuff. And yeah, now we're trying to work with those guys. I specifically want to do that. I'm seeking that out, and I have my own personal reasons for that. As I mentioned earlier, it's what I like to do. But like I said, at the same time, I think it's kind of a win-win. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to it's not part of the bros gear section, but there is another line of some MOLLE and as I mentioned earlier, that Wilder Tactical Hitman Gunfighter chest rig. Well, Wilder Tactical, they're not part of bros gear. They are bros. They're cool, but they're kind of a bigger company now, and they got a lot of stuff that they do, and that's not really the focus of the bros gear section. But they do make a couple other pouches that I do want to just point out because they do fit into the conversation. And Wilder Tactical is just some freaking cool guys. They're just some veteran, cool, they got cool stuff, they're doing cool things, they're legit, really cool guys. So I want to just mention a couple items. It's not, like I said, not part of bros gear, but one of the items is this MOLLE. This is the Med Pouch 2.0. It's basically an IFAK pouch. So I specifically wanted to bring this up because other than Wilder, I just don't know. I don't think I've ever seen an Alpine winter camo-ish, however you want to say that, IFAK pouch. And again, at Winter Warfare, we do carry these. You can just get the pouch itself. You could also get the full kit. It comes with a small IFAK kit or whatnot. The other cool item from Wilder Tactical, and again, any of this stuff could go, right on my Bliss belt from Cedar Sewing. Another cool item is the Urban Assault dump pouch. It's just your typical dump pouch, but again, you know, Alpine camo. I just, other than, you know, Wilder doing this, I just don't, you know, maybe there's some others, I just haven't found them, but it's an item that we sell. Again, put your nice dump pouch on your load-bearing equipment. So we're almost done with the conversation. I think that there was one other thought that I had. So the thought is, let's go back to the load-bearing equipment and the Wilder Tactical. This is the Hitman Gunfighter. And I think what I would add into the conversation is, depending on, some of this is just opinion, but I usually look at function, and to figure out what function I'm going to use or look at, I look at what my mission is. And depending on my mission, this Wilder, you know, Hitman Gunfighter chest rig, which is super badass. I have 7 mags. This holds 5.56 and AR. I think in my mind, this is a very short mission. You know, this is a get in and get out type of mission. I don't have, I mean, unless I have a separate belt or camel pack with water, I'm limited on this. There is a need for it, but let's just go back to the conversation of depending what your mission is. At least in the world that I'm mostly in my area of operation, I'm looking at, you know, a sustained operation. And in that scenario, that function, that mission, all day long, I'm going to be at the load-bearing harness equipment belt setup. I'm really big on this Bliss Battle Light Infantry Suspension System from Cedar Sewing, or load-bearing equipment in general, just because I think that I see that being a big probability or a big area. And so along that line, let me bring up one more. So I do have another. So recently, this is the Caribou. I think I'm saying that right. These guys are out of Canada. This is my Caribou, you know, load-bearing harness equipment. Got a butt pack, quite a few pouches. I can hold all my water, ammo, radio, sustainment gear. And the thought that I had is that let's just say you're not going to go all out on, let's just say you're not going to go all out on getting a Bliss, for example, the whole, you know, Bliss setup. But you already have a load-bearing equipment or some other load vest that you already have. My thought was simply, let's go back to earlier in the conversation about concealment. And I mean, obviously at any time concealment's extremely important, but in a snow, winter situation, there are some extremely important things to consider with concealment and hiding in the snow, I guess, if you will. And so my thought was, let's just say you had a Caribou or other load-bearing equipment. I could easily get some of these Cedar Sewing MOLLE pouches. This is, again, the Nalgene. This is the Cedar Sewing. This is the Drip double rifle insert pouch. I could very easily set my Caribou up with, say, several of these MOLLE pouches or the Shepherd Associated A42s on here in the winter setting. And so let's just look at this whole belt, and if I looked at the whole belt and I said, hey, the whole thing is 100%, well, these pouches actually take up a lot of real estate on my silhouette of my body. and let's just say I wasn't going to go full out and get the full, you know, winter kit because I already had my own load-bearing vest, I think it would be extremely useful and relevant to maybe at a lower level, instead of doing nothing at all, go ahead and get your MOLLE pouches. But if you add all these pouches up on here, let's just say that ends up being 70 to 85% of the real estate being shown. I mean, the straps don't really account for much, but a couple MOLLE pouches hung on here do. So I could change that out in the winter in lieu of just doing nothing and just running, you know, multicam in the snow where you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. The next best option, other than getting an entire Bliss outfit, would be to just get some of this MOLLE and just change that out on your current gear. So I think that that's the last of the discussion. And so again, today's focus is the bros gear section at winterwarfare.com. And I want to give a shout out to, you know, a couple of the guys that we talked about, to Josh at Cedar Sewing in Wyoming. You know, I just love that guy. Can't say enough. These are really cool guys to work with. Sean in Pennsylvania at Shadow Equipment. Samuel at Shepherd Associated in Maine. And Caleb, the War Hippie in Oregon. And so there's guys all over, really cool guys. We're always looking for more. Could be anything. You know, Winter Warfare is about the community. Winter Warfare is not about, it's not about me. It's bigger than that. There's a lot of user involvement that we love. If you have ideas for videos, ideas for equipment, things that you're seeing, we're always about that. Winter Warfare is really, you know, about you guys out there. Because, you know, winter's a special thing, and really, when you look at all this winter gear, for the guys that stuck around for this, you're legit, because it really takes a special type of person, and not everybody, and this is just the fact of the matter. You know, being out in the snow in a tactical situation, it just, some people cannot handle that. They just literally, they're done. Okay, some of you guys out there too have been to various schools, and you've just seen people drop out and they're just done. They just, for whatever reason, can't handle that. And so the guys that are in this world, it's a special group. And so I'm thankful for these cool dudes, the bros that I'd mentioned, making this gear. And I'm thankful for all you guys out there. And that's about all I got. Morgan out.